So I thought this would be a fun video to do for YouTube, my review of Spider-Man Brand New Day. I kind of just wanted to ramble about the movie and talk about like where I think the storyline's going to go from here, the references to the comics, that type of stuff I wanted to talk about. And yeah, first half will be spoiler-free, second half will be spoilers. I'll let you know when I'm getting into spoilers and when to leave the video. It probably won't be, like, super long of a spoiler-free review, because I feel like this movie, and I feel like Marvel and, like, DC movies have gotten, a lot harder to talk about without getting into spoilers, because it's like, I don't know, there's so much of this movie that you can spoil, and this movie has a lot of cool twists and that type of stuff, where it's like, you can't really talk about it just, like, straight up, just, like, as a movie. But yeah, let's get into it. So I've seen this movie 3 times. I saw it Thursday opening night, and I seen it that next Wednesday, and then I seen it Sunday. So yeah, and I feel like I have my opinion on the movie now after seeing it this many times. But overall, I thought the movie was great. I feel like if you're a Spider-Man fan of like any of the live-action Spider-Man, like there's something to like here. Like, if you like the Tobey movies because they're like super personal and relatable, Tom has kind of that character arc. Like, he has probably the most relatable and personal he's ever been. And then if you like the Andrew movies, oh, and also the characters feeling really human in, like, the Tobey movies, and I feel like they do in this movie. If you like the Andrew movies for, like, the humor and the science-y part and the web-slinging, it's got that in this movie. Especially the web-slinging. It's the best web-slinging it's ever been. And then, yeah, and the general plot and, like, Peter, you know, Tom Holland's, Peter Parker's character arc is amazing. Like, probably the best it's ever been. Considered this or No Way Home, I slightly think his character arc is better in this movie. I think it's a little more relatable. But overall, still great. And I don't know if I like it more than No Way Home. I feel like it's kind of popular now to shit all over the John Watts movies, which I guess because, like, people are like, oh, he has no, like, visual style, like the Homecoming trilogy. But it's like, I also feel like a lot of that's not his fault. And there is some shots that are really good in those movies. And it's also not really his fault. Like, he was given, like, such little time to make those movies. Like, this was given 5 years compared to, say, something like No Way Home, I think, was shot in, like, 2020, and Far From Home came out in 2019. Like, he only had, like, a year to make that movie. And, yeah, this movie overall, I'd say, is great. It does have some flaws. I think there's some inconsistent writing I've noticed, like, watching it. Even the first time I watched it, I kind of noticed it, but especially on repeat viewings. But, overall, I'd still say, like, it's a great movie. But yeah, and then I like the overall, like, character, like, or not character, well, I love all the characters. I love the overall plot. I'm not gonna go into spoilers, but basically, like, Peter's, like, isolated himself after the events of Brand New Day. He's, like, depressed. He's not really talking to, like, anybody and that type of stuff. He's keeping up with, like, MJ and Ned on social media. This is stuff that's in the trailer, so it's not really, like, super, like, spoilery. I feel like you can grab all this from, like, the trailer. And he's, like, isolated himself. He's alone. And he's, like, fully dedicated himself to being Spider-Man instead of Peter. I feel like that's such, like, that's kind of a Batman thing to do, but it's kind of cool. And then, like, the general plot of, like, basically, like, so Peter's, like, isolated himself, that type of stuff. And then there's this telepath who's, like, jumping between people's, like, minds or whatever. And yeah, and it's up to Peter, and they're looking for something. It's up to Peter, you know, Spider-Man, to stop them. And yeah, overall, I'd say this is a great movie. Go out, see it if you haven't already. But yeah, now let's get into the spoilers. Like, leave now. I'll probably do some of the comic references first that I noticed. So leave now if you don't want anything spoiled for you, or if you don't care, stay. So yeah, one of the first comic references, well, the first one is the montage, which was really cool. There's, like, a montage of a bunch of different villains, like, in the beginning of the movie. You get a montage of him taking down, like, Tombstone. Who was there? Tombstone, Scorpion, Ramrod. Like, they do, like, a bunch of different remakes, or, like, remakes. They remake a bunch of different, like, covers, comic book covers, and it was really cool. And then one of the first references is one of the students, when Dr. Banner's a professor in the movie, one of the students asks him a question, and she says her name's Cindy. And if they are referencing that, they don't have to do anything with it. It could just be a cool reference, but that's Cindy Moon, I'm assuming they're referencing, and she becomes Silk. And basically, she, like, gets bit by the same spider that bites Peter right before it dies. It jumps to her ankle and bites her, and she becomes Silk. And pretty cool character. I haven't read much of her outside the Dan Slott run, but what I've read I really like. And this is like her first costume, and then this is her second costume. Really cool character. But yeah, and then I'll kind of go in order. Another reference they make when he gets shot towards the end of the movie by Punisher. They have basically, like, they recreate this. It's either this from Civil War they're referencing, really cool shot there, or from Ultimate Spider-Man, where he shoots Peter by, shoots Peter. And yeah, I thought those were really cool comic references and stuff like that. And then, yeah, and then, like, the big twist of the movie. Like, I love the big twist of the movie. I mean, I think everybody saw this coming, it being Jean Grey, who Sadie Sink was playing. It was kind of the worst kept secret, but then, like, the whole, like, it was kind of heartbreaking. Like, it made me kind of emotional, like, the whole, she's looking for VMAX the entire time, because she thinks it's the last thing her sister, like, sent her out for her to find her, and, like, it was, like, literally the last thing, and she thinks her sister's still alive, like, she's looking for her, and then, instead, it's literally just, like, I think that's so cool, like, they set it up, like, it's a MacGuffin, like, she's trying to find, like, a super soldier's, like, like, some type of serum or nuke codes or this or that when he's talking to Elena in the bathtub. Also, that was so Peter Parker, like, the wearing the mask, even when he's, like, basically was naked, like, that was so Peter Parker. And then, yeah, they set that up, and I was like, that's pretty funny. But then, like, the whole, like, VMAX, it's, like, it's literally just a tape covering up the air vent. It's, like, kind of heartbreaking, and it's tragic. And I've seen some people say that, like, Jean Grey's too evil. I don't know. I feel like there's been so many MCU characters that have murdered, like, millions of people. Or, like, even if you're an X-Men fan, like, Wolverine wasn't a good person at first. Like, there's tons of people that don't start off good. Like, I don't think she's too evil to be redeemed. Even then, like, I feel like that's such boring. Like, people, sometimes I feel like they just want, like, black and white, like, good guy, bad guy characters. But it's like, I don't know, like, I liked it. And plus, I mean, I don't know much about, like, Jean Grey from the comics. I heard some people have said she's boring. I need to read more X-Men. And besides the Phoenix Saga, like, she's boring. I don't know. But I do like the way they did her character here. And I feel like, I don't know, she's very tragic. Like, I felt really bad for her. And then another reference they do, which I thought was really cool, I think at the end they're referencing the original Secret Wars. I know they're mostly going to do Jonathan Hickman's one, but yeah, because they say, like, Spider-Man's in space at the end, like, the little tracker, like, it glitches in it, like, I think it locates him in space, if I remember. I've seen the movie 3 times. I've seen the post-credit scene twice. But yeah, that's where he gets his black suit. That'd be really cool to do. And I feel like I have faith in them that they would do the saga right, like the black costume saga. Like, at least give it to him. I feel like they should give it to him for a full movie, and then he takes it off, and then they do the Venom stuff. But yeah, and then, like, the ending, like, I love the ending, how it was basically like, I don't know, the way Peter redeems Jean Grey's soul. And then also, I don't know, I also loved how this movie felt like a comic booky movie. It, like, the way characters popped in and out, like Yelena Belova, the Hulk fight was amazing. Like, I love the Hulk fight with, like, the shocker hands. That was, like, so peak, as the kids would say these days. And yeah, and I love, like, the ending, how Peter redeems Jean Grey's soul. I thought that was great. And then I also really enjoyed, yeah, the ending, like, how they left it kind of open-ended. Like, does Ned and MJ really know who he is? Because, like, they kind of leave it open-ending, like, because MJ is, like, clutching the thing at the end. She's clutching, like, the necklace that he gave her in Far From Home. And it's like, does she really? I feel like you leave it open-ended. Like, if Daniel Craig, I didn't say his name right, but the director who did this movie, if he wants to, if he's going to direct the next movie, he can, he leaves it open-ended enough. I think that's really cool, where it's like, she might remember him, she might not. And then also, like, the little, like, handshake that Ned remembers at the end, is that because he remembers Peter Parker, like, he remembers him? Or is it because he remembers that Peter, when MJ called him when she was going to, like, rescue Jean Grey, and MJ called him, like, Peter in the apartment? It's like, oh, that he's Spider-Man. Like, I wonder if that's what it was. But yeah, just overall, this movie was great. This is pretty much just a rambling video, but I just wanted to ramble about the movie and how much I enjoyed it. Like, I did say it has some inconsistencies, like, I feel like, especially with, like, Jean Grey's powers, and, like, the fact that, like, oh, she can only jump 30 feet. How'd she get to MJ then, and then did that scene? That scene, though, but I'm also the type of person where, like, if something's inconsistent, but it has, like, a really good emotional payoff, I kind of don't care. And every time I've seen the movie in theaters, the 3 times I've seen it, people gasped at that scene, and that scene was so heartbreaking. And Peter goes through it, and I love the fact that she tells him she doesn't love him, like, I don't know you. And it kind of shows who's a good person, who's not, because there's some people who call, like, MJ a bitch online, and it's like, bro, she doesn't remember him, like, at all, like, and plus, like, her, like, somebody's like, I would have left her, I wouldn't have swung her home. It's like, it shows that you're not, to me, it kind of shows that you either immature or not a good person, like, because Peter Parker clearly is. He even tells her about, like, the kiss, and he was like, I'm sorry, you know, I thought it was you. And it's like, it shows that he, like, values consent and stuff like that. And yeah, but overall, I thought this was a great movie. Sorry, this is just a straight up rambling video. There's no real structure to it besides me. I did kind of structure the comic book references. But yeah, overall, I love the movie. What are y'all thoughts on it? Like, comment, subscribe, and peace.